What is going on, everyone? It's your guy, Cole Jackson, back here in the Russell Street Report film room, and we're asking a question that we asked a few weeks ago. Does the title look a little familiar to you? Because we asked, can Juwan James protect Lamar Jackson's blindside? Juwan James unfortunately goes down with a torn Achilles. Sending thoughts and prayers to him. He came back. He looked good. He allowed 0 pressures in 16 pass sets. I thought he looked I think he had some rough bumps in the run game, but I thought he looked really good in pass protection and was really matching what he did in the preseason. Unfortunately, the Ravens lose him for the season. And now, until Ronnie Stanley's back, which could be quicker, but it shifts to the Patrick Mekari show. And so I think Coach Harbaugh confirmed that yesterday. So now the question becomes, can Patrick Mekari protect Lamar Jackson's blindside? This is obviously a huge thing. We've talked about this all offseason. Did the Baltimore Ravens do enough to build left tackle depth to cover a Ronnie Stanley injury? And so Juwan James was part of that solution. Patrick Mekari was kind of their plan B, and now we're going to see what happens here. So what I did is I dug into his pass sets to try and answer that question and show specifically where he's winning, where he's losing, how teams are going to attack him, because it looks very similar to when he was at right tackle last year. So let's get into it, and then I'll wrap it up at the end with kind of my opinion.
Started here with some of the losses again. And the reason I always start with these, and this might hurt people that only watch half the video because you only see the losses and not the wins, but I personally think you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. But the interesting thing with Patrick Mekari is when he's playing tackle, and we saw it last year, he really likes to use his vertical set. So vertical set is when he's working vertically back and not more on an angle. So he does that to kind of, especially against a wide alignment like what we have here, but he uses that vertical set so that he can get set, use his space to his advantage, use his footwork, and really work angles. So if he was doing a 45-degree set, you'd see him moving more out on an angle here, and if it was a quick set, he's working more. I mean, you rarely are going to quick set a wide 9 alignment, but that's what it would look like if there was a guy here. He'd be getting out hands-on really quickly. You usually see that from bigger, physical, slower guys, but Patrick Mekari really uses this vertical set to use the space to his advantage. So we're going to kind of look at the losses here, talk about what he could have done better, and then I'm going to show you plays where he's doing it better. And I'll show you exactly what I think guys that are lining up against him are trying to do. It's really to take advantage of his functional strength and his length, which aren't, league highs by any means. So let's run it through and then we'll break it down. So he's going against Lawson here, and this is the touchdown to Duvernay. I showed this in the Tyler Linderbaum video, but so the question is, he gets set really good. So I want to start, look how quickly he moves. So he's out. This was his first play when he came in at left tackle. And the number one thing when you're coming off the bench and you're playing, just get out of your set. Get out of your set and get moving, and that's what he does here. You can see those fluid hips. He's able to square up. I think he misread a little bit how deep he had to get, because I think he turned a little too quick, so he turned there. And so by doing that, he kind of creates a half-body relationship, and he can't really get into his power position because he's turned. And so you'll see Lawson use this inside hand to get inside, and he does that right there. So now what I mean by he creates a half-body relationship, you usually want this back leg to be back here, and that's how he's going to anchor. But he's kind of has to use this his outside hand that's going into, on this side. So he has to use that as basically his primary power, because that's where he's dealing with. And you can see right there, he's pushing right up on Patrick Mekari to run through him. And so, ball comes out. He kind of steps on Lamar there. That was a bit of the concern. But basically he creates a way so that when the defender gets his hands on him, he can bull rush him. And that's what we don't want to see. See right there, he takes about 3 steps back. And that's where we're going to run into concerns with Patrick Mekari. So what I think he needs to do better here is get a little bit deeper before he turns. So I think ideally you want, and I mean a good comparison is you can see Morgan Moses, who obviously I don't think had to deal with as wide of a, Lawson's working upfield like this. It's not the exact same, but you can see what I mean here with he's keeping that outside shoulder more square, whereas Mekari's more turned, and that's where he loses a bit of his power. So just keep an eye on that because we're going to talk about this a little bit because that's how he gets attacked at offensive tackle. So here on play 2, we are going against Lawson again. And this is where we kind of see his length issue come up. And we all know how I feel about Patrick Mekari's length issue. Willing to talk about it when it's actually an issue. So let's see what happens. And so he gets pushed there. And you can see it's kind of similar to the play we just watched. He's not as wide. He's still pretty wide. But he's basically getting Mekari out on an island. And I think you can see right here, see how his shoulders are more like this, whereas in the last clip, he started to turn this way. So that's a good adjustment. And then he turns there. But that's okay because so does he. And that was the difference between the first clip and this clip is I think he turned too early last time. And now he's got him squared up. He's got this outside hand that he can get more on the outside chest plate. So right there, and this is where you'll see Lawson just push up. And so that's where I understand some of the length concerns because it's fair in this case. So he kind of gets, but it's not only length in this one. It's also just his anchor. So he gets in. If he could sit down on this or start to push him out the back of the pocket, which is kind of a Mekari signature, he likes to do that a lot because it's using his mobility. He would have a better set here, but he just gets outreached, worked through. Ball comes out. It's another touchdown to Duvernay, which is kind of funny because that's two, plays where he's kind of giving up pressure, but both are 2 touchdowns to Duvernay. So you can kind of see some similarities in those, but you're kind of seeing how he needs to reach his set point, get set, drop his anchor. On this third play, he's got the wide 9 alignment from Lawson again. Let's run it through. So that's a little bit better, and I think this is what we want to see. So he gets that inside hook right there, and he starts to turn him. And that's what I was trying to say. He likes to work him out the back of the pocket. See that? How he's pushing up and pushing out that way. That's important because the ball comes out quick, so it wasn't as relevant. But if Lamar needs to step up, he can step up around this. And that's why working him out of the back of the pocket is so important. Let's run it just forward just a little bit more. He gets a little bit bold there at the end. But again, I think as Lamar steps up, if he has to, and I mean, fair point here, people are concerned about him working into Lamar's legs. I get that. That's something that I think he's going to have to adjust. Again, I think that's his functional strength. But I really liked what he did here compared to the last clip where he gets that inside hook and works that up. And I think that's going to lead to a little bit better outcomes for him. On this one, we're going to see... Is this a stunt? Yeah, okay. So we're going to get a stunt here. CJ Mosley is going to be the knife man and work across Mekari's face. And then Lawson, I think it is, I'd have to check the number, is going to loop. Yeah, it's Lawson. So this was just a really poor pickup, something that we're going to have to see improve. Nice catch by Andrews. This, I'm wondering if what's going through Patrick Mekari's head. This was a little bit later in the game, but Mekari's so focused on these vertical sets, and he's probably focused. Let's see where his eyes go. See, his eyes go right out, and he's getting out in his stance, and he's just crystal clear focused on Lawson. And this is where the defense just makes a play. Basically, Mosley's coming in to set a pick, but Mekari kind of reacts to Lawson going this way, and that creates this gap. And that's where Mosley just goes literally through the back of him like that. So this is just going to have to come with better communication between Powers and Mekari. But what I think the Jets defense did really well here is they're taking advantage of Mekari knowing he needs to set vertically against Lawson. And so just creates that seam. Powers picks it up pretty well, actually, and moves on. So we're kind of seeing a little bit something different there. But I think it's important to take a look at. So we have Lawson again here, and this is going to be the beauty of what I think Patrick Mekari does so well. So now we're going to shift into some of the things that he did really well and why it's important. And so again, this is just very nice. So Lawson's not quite as wide here. He's more of a 7 tech, but same thing. See how he's square, better power position, good arch in his back. He's kind of set there, and then he's just gonna work him. And Lawson was just trying to bend his edge, and Mekari just keeps pumping his feet, and that's probably the best thing that Mekari can do. And so, I mean, I don't call this a pressure for Mekari because the pressure kind of comes a little bit from the inside. Obviously, Ricard working here, or whoever's working against Ricard there. But I think Mekari does his job in this play, cleans him out the back of the pocket. The quarterback's allowed to step up. I don't think that's necessarily on the offensive tackle, but that's what I think Mekari does so well. He works in that space, pushes him out the back of the pocket. And so there we're seeing, this is against Michael Clemens, so this isn't Lawson on this one, and he gets a little bit of help from Powers. They run a half line slide, so you see Linderbaum right off the snap. They're basically running. They got 2 4 techs, 2 6 techs, so they're Linderbaum is choosing to slide left, which makes sense. They're going to leave the vets here on the right side alone on islands. Linderbaum slides across. Then we got 1 here, 2 up. They're going to continue to slide. Powers is coming out to help. Linderbaum overtakes the 4 tech. But before Powers comes in right here at the end, you can see, and maybe this is just the difference between Michael Clemens and Carl Lawson, but you can see the difference. Ideally, you'd want his head on the inside here, but he gets his hands right inside, creates that leverage, and just kind of finds his anchor there at the end. So really good work there, looking a lot better. Lamar's going to sling that out. On this one, let's catch up. So this one's going to be against Lawson. So this is a nice little parallel to some of the early clips that we looked at. So he's got a linebacker head up on him. That's going to probably shift the line left. Powers is going to have to come out just in case he comes. Mekari setting vertically. See, there's much better. See how there's that head inside like we just talked about on the last play. Hands inside. Now it's time to set your feet, set your base, and he does it right there. That's what he does really well. If he's able to get his hands inside, he's able to set his feet and anchor. And yeah, Powers comes in for the help there, which is fine. But you're kind of seeing him adjust a little bit more. And that right there, when I compare him to a boxer, I always say boxers need to work inside. It's the same with Patrick Mekari. He's got to get inside. And you can see him. He's trying to work the length. He's trying to work that length on a long arm, and Mekari anchors him a lot better. So good to see some improvement there compared to some of the earlier clips. Michael Clemens again out wide. And again, it really shows the difference in Michael Clemens as a rusher versus Lawson. But you can kind of see, boom, and he sets his feet. So just picking up anchoring better. I think this is the last one we're going to take a look at. Yeah, same idea, Michael Clemens. So let's go in and wrap this one up.
All right, so there you have it, folks. So, I mean, it's funny. A lot of the things that I just talked about, if you watch my Tyler Linderbaum video, it's very similar. It's getting into your set point, it's getting your feet, setting your feet, and battling. And those are kind of the key things for Patrick Mekari. It's what he did so well last year at right tackle. That's why Von Miller gave him the props that he gave him. So I think the way he's going to have to adjust, the way he's going to win, it's going to be all about squaring guys up, setting your anchor, or dropping your anchor, and battling through those reps. So to answer the question, can Patrick Mekari do it? I've believed in him the whole time, and I think he can. He's going to have a big challenge. He's going to see Jalen Phillips and Emmanuel Ogbah on Sunday. We might see a lot of that sim pressure where Mekari's working on an island. It's going to be a battle, and I'm excited to watch it. So if you guys like this, if you guys are enjoying the film breakdowns, hit the like button, drop a comment down below. Let me know. Are you worried? Are you excited? Let me know what you're feeling. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace out.